Long ago, in a time when gods walked among men and kingdoms rose and fell, there was a love so powerful it changed the course of history. This is the story of Paris and Helen, a tale of passion, betrayal, and destiny. Helen of Sparta was said to be the most beautiful woman in the world, a daughter of Zeus and Leda. Though married to King Menelaus of Sparta, her heart was restless, yearning for a love that she could not yet comprehend. Far away in Troy, Paris, the youngest prince of King Priam, lived a simpler life. His charm and good looks caught the attention of Aphrodite, the goddess of love, who had her own plans for him. One fateful day, Paris was tasked with a divine decision, to choose the fairest goddess. Hera promised power, Athena offered wisdom and victory in battle, but Aphrodite promised him the love of the most beautiful woman on earth. Blinded by the allure of love, Paris chose Aphrodite. Guided by fate and Aphrodite's promise, Paris traveled to Sparta. When his eyes met Helen's, the world around them faded. It was a love that defied the gods, as if their souls had known each other long before this lifetime. Their love blossomed in secret, but such passion could not remain hidden for long. Helen's heart was torn. She loved Paris deeply, but was also aware of the betrayal her actions would bring to Menelaus and her people. As the days passed, Helen's internal conflict grew, but the pull of true love is irresistible. When Menelaus left Sparta for a brief journey, Helen and Paris made a choice that would change everything. They fled together to Troy, a decision that would ignite a war and leave the world forever altered. Menelaus, furious and humiliated, called upon the Greek kingdoms to honor their oaths and retrieve Helen. Thus began the Trojan War, a conflict that would last a decade and bring untold suffering. As the Greeks laid siege to Troy, Paris and Helen's love endured. They knew the world condemned them, but in each other's arms, they found solace and strength. Paris, though a lover at heart, fought bravely for Troy. Yet even the mightiest heroes are not invincible. In the chaos of war, Paris met his end. Helen's cries echoed through the palace as the man she had risked everything for slipped away. Her grief was boundless, but the war was not over. The fall of Troy, and with it, the dream Helen and Paris had built. Legends say Helen returned to Sparta, but her heart remained in Troy, where the ashes of her great love lay buried. Though Helen's life continued, she was never truly free from the shadow of her past. She lived with the memory of a love so great, it defied the gods and shook the foundations of the ancient world. But not all versions of this tale speak of love and choice. Some say that Helen never willingly left Sparta. Instead, Paris, fueled by his desire and Aphrodite's promise, abducted her against her will. On a moonlit night, Paris sneaked into the Spartan palace with the help of a loyal servant. Helen, asleep in her chamber, was taken aboard Paris's ship, her cries of protest drowned by the sound of the waves. She pleaded with him to let her return to her husband, King Menelaus. But Paris, entranced by her beauty and emboldened by Aphrodite's blessings, refused to listen. As the ship sailed toward Troy, Helen stood at the edge of the vessel, her tear-streaked face turned back toward Sparta, her homeland fading into the distance. In this version of the story, Helen's sorrow and longing for freedom become the heart of her narrative, casting Paris not as a romantic hero, but as an ambitious prince blinded by passion. Greek mythology is rich with variations, and Helen's story is no exception. In some retellings, Helen never set foot in Troy. The gods, displeased with Paris and Aphrodite, sent only a phantom of Helen to Troy, while the real Helen was taken to Egypt for safekeeping. For years, Menelaus searched for her, believing she had betrayed him, only to find her waiting faithfully in a distant land. Other versions suggest that Helen, torn between love and duty, reluctantly left with Paris, fearing the wrath of the gods if she denied Aphrodite's gift. Each version paints a different picture of Helen, not just as the face that launched 1,000 ships, but as a woman caught between divine will and human desire. Love, war, and the will of the gods, Helen and Paris's story remains one of the most compelling tales of the ancient world. Perhaps we will never know the true version of events, but their story lives on, reminding us of the power and peril of love.